Good day traders, welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to look at the forecast for today and tomorrow, because we are left with only 2 days to the close of the week. So let's start with our Forex Factory calendar. On the economic news, today we have red folder news, ADPN, non-farm employment changes. We have unemployment claims. We have ISM service PMI. Then tomorrow, the big day, NFP. So let's see how these news will treat the markets with our chart analysis. So on DXY, we closely looked at this fair value gap, which pushed price to the lower side, and price respected this fair value gap very well. And remember, in our weekly forecast, we are looking at having a DXY with an up close week. So we don't know whether this will be respected, but basing on our technical analysis, we could see an up close or a bullish close week. So let's analyze it on the daily time frame, and we see if our weekly bias is still valid. So on the daily time frame, we are looking at this fair value gap on the daily to hold price to the upside. So should price violate this fair value gap, let's say today, if today closes uh, bearish and violates this fair value gap on the daily time frame, then our weekly bias for having a down close week will be a low probability. So we shall now start targeting these lows, this swing low, going to the downside. However, we clearly see that price is still respecting this consequent encroachment or the 50% of the daily fair value gap. So ideally, we don't expect this 50% or this fair value gap to be violated in all cases. So in order for us to have an up close week for the DXY, remember, as ICT states that all trading should be done in a NFP week. All trading should be done on Wednesday, and you wait for NFP to play out. But still, we can make some prediction to see whether our chart analysis is valid. So we expect in today's price action, price to come deeper, takes out these lows and start trading higher during the news hours. So should it fail to trade higher during the news hours, then we shall collapse our idea for having an up close week this week. So on the 4 hour time frame, um, we clearly see that if price is to head higher, it should respect this order block, which is ideally uh, aligning with the 50% of this fair value gap on the daily time frame. So if we are trade higher, price should respect these key levels, the daily fair value gap and the 4 hour order block. So ideally we are looking at this to push price higher, and we shall be targeting these swing highs as our consequent take profit targets. So let's see, go back on the daily time frame. So ideally we shall be looking at this Tuesday high, because it is the highest swing high, to be our draw on liquidity. So let's mark it. So if price wants to trade higher, we expect it to respect this, to come closer or to take out this swing high and trade higher during NFP week. Where it will trade to, we don't know, because NFP normally brings in large wicks. it could trade into this consequent swing high, or we expect it to take out this swing high and trade higher, encroaching these swing highs. So that is our bias. We are still valid with our weekly bias. We are bullish for the dollar, and we are bearish for Euro USD and GBP USD, unless price proves us otherwise. So let's go on Euro USD to see whether we are having a valid bias. So on the weekly time frame, we were looking at price coming into this gaps. There was a gap here, fair value gap here, and price tapped in it, wicked below it, and still on Euro USD we had another gap which price uh, could trade into. However, it respected the first fair value gap and started moving higher. So on the daily time frame, we are looking at the same gaps, making a good order block here, which we don't expect price to trade lower. And now, if we are leaving this fair value gap, it will be an inversion fair value gap. An inversion fair value gap is that gap that is traded into and price leaves it. So when price comes back into that fair value gap, it acts as support or resistance. So now we are seeing that price traded into this fair value gap, left it, and it's now coming back into it, which will act as our potential support level. And we clearly see even we have an order block below it. This last down close candle could act as our support level, and our target areas will be this swing high. But first, we shall be looking at this swing high as our potential area of target. So when price violates or closes above this swing high, then we shall be expecting price to come into these areas. You have a daily fair value gap here, which we expect price to violate and trade through. So ideally, our weekly forecast is still playing. However, yesterday I predicted those moves into the fair value gaps, and we had some massive sales on GBP USD and Euro USD. Those who looked at my forecast for yesterday, I think you made some nice profits. So ideally today, we are looking at price trading lower into this order block and getting rejected during the news hours to continue higher. So if it fails to do that, then we shall collapse our bias, and we follow the price where it will be heading to. So on the 4 hour time frame, we still see that there is a range which could act as a support area here. This is the order block on the daily time frame. So ideally, price should not violate the 50% of this order block. We expect it to come lower, and even to respect this inversion fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame, the 50% of it, in order to trade higher. So we shall see how price will be interacting with this area, this gap, in order to have our full bias of going to the upside. So on the GBP USD, still we were looking at this weekly fair value gap, which price came into nicely and started trading higher. So I gave you this order block on the daily time frame, and I told you if we are to trade higher from the weekly fair value gap, this daily order block should hold, and we see that it is still holding price. And ideally we are looking at this swing high as our draw on liquidity. So all we need now is to see price respecting these areas on the 4 hour, not trading below this area in order to trade higher. So if we get good momentum to the upside, then our buyers will be having an up close week for the GBPUSD and Euro USD, whereas the XY will be trading to the downside. So we are still sticking to the weekly bias during the NFP day tomorrow, and even today we are sticking to the bullish bias for the Euro USD and GBP USD. So I hope it will play out, and if it plays out, I hope you'll make good profits. May the markets move with you.